Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet Rayne. And today, our host is Nikki Milton, my daughter. If you've watched some of these shows, you may have seen her. I talk about her a lot. I drop her name a lot. So if you've never had an opportunity to know who Nikki is, here she is.
That's the funny thing about listening to the early days of this podcast is that people in our center here all know who I am. So you're used to just talking about me willy-nilly, and you're just name dropping me on this podcast. And I'm going, your listeners have no idea who you're talking about.
Well, everybody should know Nikki. Doesn't everybody know Nikki? I think everybody should know Nikki.
Maybe not everybody. That sounds like a lot.
We put heavy emphasis on her. I mean, to be my daughter is really tough. And then, I don't give her a break, but she doesn't really give me a break either. So it's a two-way street. As I always say, you're supposed to know everything. You know everything. Her whole family thinks she knows
everybody says that to me. I'm like, what gave you this impression? It wasn't me.
She's supposed to know everything. So if you ever hear that, you can laugh because she always pushes back. It is not me.
I'm not the one. Try that somewhere else.
We're in the month of February, and so we're going to chat today about self-love, self-care, self-nurture, all those things that I think a lot of people, and I'm going to say a lot of people, have a really hard time with. I think overall, we're always giving to everyone, trying to please everyone, trying to be there for everyone, trying to handle everything. And the person that gets on the end of the list is ourselves. We always put them last. And February is the month of Valentine's Day, yes, and it's about love. But in the mystery school, we look at it as self-care, self-love. What are we doing for ourselves? And that doesn't mean that only in the month of February do we love ourselves. But what can we do this month to love ourselves so that we create some of those behaviors and habits throughout the year so we pull that energy through? And when I told Nikki she was going to help me do this episode, she's like, really? This is the least one that I know
much. Speaking of, I am not the one. Of all the monthly energies, I was just thinking about it. My initial thought was this is the most challenging for me, but that's not necessarily true. What's true is this is the one I'm most likely to be like, oh, if I get a bad card this month, it's fine. It's self-love, whatever. It's not a big deal. It's me, the person we take care of the least, right? You're like, I can handle it. It's whatever. So it's the one I'm most likely to just overlook as the least important, even though I know that's not true. But so it's challenging in that. Like the rest of the monthly energies, like I got those down pat. I'm comfortable. I get it. Like it's not that I don't get February, but I'm just like I'm most resistant to the monthly energy of February for sure.
Well, she's also resistant in the fact that her previous marriage, not the one that she's in now, her husband would always go to the store and buy her flowers. And she's not a flower girl.
Like, why are you buying me something that's going to die? And that I have to take care of. You might as well bring a pet home. Like, don't do that. But like, just giving me more to do. I don't understand. I could have got me a book.
See, and I love flowers, so I guarantee Tom will be at the florist at some point before Valentine's Day to help them with the rush. I'll get flowers, and I love flowers.
And me, I'm like, roses are overpriced and I want the underdog. So I've never been a big roses person anyway, and it has a lot to do with my rebellious nature because everybody loves roses. And then especially this time of year, it's like they're so overpriced and you know it, and you still demand the roses anyway. I mean, you do you, boo, whatever makes you happy. But I'm like, don't spend that much money on no, underdog. I'm a carnation person. Buy me the carnations because everyone's overlooking the carnations. They're cheap. They smell fantastic. They are beautiful, especially if you can get those two-tone color ones. Like, skip the roses for me. I'm good.
And they last longer than roses. Have you ever noticed carnations are there until the very end? Everything else has died and went to heaven.
Plus, rose oil smells like old lady soap.
See,
And they have to use like 40,000 rose petals to make one bottle of that oil. That's
so
ridiculous.
how many of you at home have daughters or mothers that you're completely the opposite? So the things that I love, watch your face, rose oil is one of my favorites. Lavender oil
Old
is
lady
one of
soap,
my
gardenia,
favorites.
like old lady soap smell.
Thieves. I love thieves
Ugh.
oil. All three of these, she's like, because she's had it all of her life because those are the things that I reached for.
Whereas I'm like citrus and mint and those smells, and yeah, not the florals. The florals aren't for me.
So you didn't know you was going to learn so much about us. I think that's why people like watching this show. It's because we banter back and forth with each other.
I'll even take trees like Palo Santo, cedar, pine. Like that's all good stuff. But yeah, not the old lady soap smells.
Well, I am an old lady, Nikki. Do you not see that? Look.
Yeah, but you liked old lady soap way before you were an old lady. It's like you were embodying that way early.
I love that stuff, right? So we're back to self-love, self-care. For everyone, it's very different. One of the things we talk about in the mystery school when we get to love and all that is the 5 languages of love by Dr. Gary Chapman and how we receive and give love. And I think that's a really powerful lesson. And there are 5 of those on how you receive love. Some people like gifts. Some people like to spend time. Some people like service. Some people like affirmations. I'm missing a
5th one. I know. I was just thinking like words of affirmation, service, quality time, gifts, touch, physical touch.
Physical touch. So there's 5 of them. And he noticed when he was counseling couples that were married that these 5 continued to come up. And what we tend to do is give the way we want to receive. So if one of them is a service person and they're really into being of service, and the other one is completely different, they might miss the mark with each other if they're not aware of how they like to receive and give love. And he's went on to expand this to workplaces, to families, to all that. But besides all that, when we sit down and talk to people and say, what is love to you? When do you feel love? What do you do for yourself or self-love? You get this blank look come over their face because they don't know what that is or what that means. And it can be as simple as, what did you buy yourself for your self-love today?
Oh, I at my other job, the admin person bought me a mouse pad and a wrist pad for my desk, and I liked it so much that I bought another one to bring here so that I could have a cute little mouse pad set because my wrist sometimes rubs on the desk. So yeah, I'm starting off strong with a little self-care this month.
Of being really good and pampering yourself, even if it is a mouse
simple,
pad.
right? A mouse pad with a little
or a
cushy
wrist
bottom.
pad, right? Those things are really simple. I tell people, I was doing a gallery last night and I said, even if you want to put on your soft fuzzy pajamas and fuzzy socks and watch Mamma Mia all night, that's self-love. That's taking care of that. Something
last night I was like, I knew that nobody was going to be at home last night. My husband and my kiddos all had plans. They were somewhere else, and I knew I was going home to an empty house. So I immediately knew that I was going to go home, take care of a couple things I needed to take care of. I needed to do a little bit of work, and then I was going to sit on the couch with the book that I was reading in silence by myself, and I was so excited.
See, self-love, self-care. One of the things that I've done this month is I've booked a sound bath in the Salt Caves downtown on Pearl Street with Ann Martin. And I'm so excited because I love going down to the salt caves and doing a sound bath. That's my love this month. That's something I'm doing for me. And it just happened to fall in the month of February. So I was like, check, check. I got that, right? I can do that.
I'm
Or
gonna have
I've
some Lunar New Year fun this weekend and maybe next weekend. So I'm gonna go and check out this new boba place in town called Band Boba, and they put all the drinks in these cute little like animal containers. Like that's what and then go to like the Asian market to see what kind of Lunar New Year goodies they have out. Like that's on my agenda for this weekend and maybe next week. Next weekend I'd like to go to some of the little centers in town and see the lion dances because I love those.
So see, self-care can be different things for all of us. They can show up in different ways. What lights your heart up? What brings you joy? It could be as simple as hanging out with your family this month and spending time with them. It could be going to your favorite restaurant. It could be all those things. It's kind of sitting down and really thinking about what is self-love to me and what is self-care, because I think sometimes there, that self-nurture, self-care, if we think about self-care, some people think about, hey, I'm going to go have a spa day, or I'm going to do a massage, or I'm going to do a pedicure or a facial, or I'm going to go and have a healing session and release some stuff, or I'm going to go do a sound bath. Those are very self-care that we offer in the center.
And I'm
Sometimes.
starting something right now because I have a new work schedule that's pretty hefty. And so it could be something as simple as right now, I have to, like, I do my work during the day and I eat dinner and I sit down and I watch a K drama with my 15-year-old because that's what we're into these days. But I only watch the one episode because I know I have to be in bed by 10 so that I get enough sleep so that I can, function well the next day. And that's self-care.
Yeah, it's knowing how much sleep do you need, what type of food does your body need, what kind of care, all that is pretty easy. Or, when you're looking at self-love, we're doing a self-love ritual ceremony at the center next week. And this may have already played by then, but we're going to make bath salts and rose water, and we're going to write a love letter. I mean, there's lots of ways to kind of come into that self-love, self-care, self nurture. And it's about just acknowledging I'm doing this. And sometimes it's about today's about me, and I'm going to do all the things that I love to do today. And it's going to be all about me just because I can. And sometimes it's about, hey, hon, I want to go to dinner and I want to eat here. That's being empowered to say, hey, this is something I really want to do. Let's go do this today. And this is about me. So take those opportunities this month as much as you can to have that self-care, but don't just do it in February. Think about how you can pull that through your entire year. What does that look like for you? What should it be for you for that self-care, self-nurture? And yes, we poo-poo it sometimes and we push it to the side and we don't make it a priority.
The
But
bottom of my priority list. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but February holds the container for that energy for the whole year. So this is a great time to start a new habit or just set an intention or make a plan, like put it in your calendar. If you're one of those people, I'm one of those people. Like if it's in my calendar, I'm more likely to do it, right? Whatever it is, use this month as the, jumping off point for the rest of the year for, and it doesn't have to be major and it doesn't have to cost money. Like I said, just going to bed at 10 o'clock every night is free and, makes my next day, a bazillion times better. So,
or be like Trina at our center that takes 4-hour baths.
oh my God, I would be wrinkly.
Take a bath for 4 hours. Treat yourself.
Where my brain goes first. Wrinkles.
Right? But for her, that's her nurture. That's her way to care for herself. We're all different and what that looks like and how that
And my
comes in.
husband will plan a date with his daughter who's 26 and go spend time with her because that fills up his tank.
Or cooking. For some people, it's getting in the kitchen and cooking a meal for their family. That is their self-care of nurturing and helping. It brings them joy, makes them happy. Whatever that is, make sure that you lean into that, right? And that you have that for yourself, that self-care, self-nurture. That's just so important that we take care of ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, and there's, like I said, there's dozens, if not hundreds of ways to do it, whether you want to start journaling or you want to have fresh flowers on the dining room table, or you just want to spend time with someone you haven't gotten to see in a minute or spend any time with. Hey, it's Girl Scout Cookie Month. Maybe it's Thin Mints, whatever it is that makes you feel good, and make sure that you're taking a little time and space for you as well, because we all tend to be people pleasers who put all of our people first and us last.
So, in the comments below, as you're watching or listening to the show, share with us what your self care, what your self nurture is, what you're committed to doing for yourself this month, or what you may be committed to doing for the whole year. Think about that. Put your comments in, give people ideas of ways that they might be able to do self love, self nurture. Thank you, Nikki, for being on the show. We're going to do these once a month until you guys get bored with us.
I don't know why, but apparently lots of people listen to the last one. So if you haven't listened to our New Year's rituals one where we banter back and forth about that, go on back and listen to that one, I guess. Well, if you enjoyed this one, if not, well, have a good day.
Have a great day. We hope that you'll follow, comment, and like us on all the platforms. Thank you for taking the time this morning to check in with us, listen, watch, whatever time of the day that you're listening or watching. We hope you have a sacred, magical day and hope to see you soon.